Hey everyone, Casual Console Gamer here. I was looking through the PlayStation Plus catalog of games the other day, and I found that Disco Elysium was available on it, although it's leaving the service on April 15th. I personally never had a chance to play it before, so I picked it up on console. The version I'm reviewing today is the Final Cut, which added a few updates to the original, including voice acting and console support. Disco Elysium was released in 2019, and the Final Cut version came to console in 2021, making this a fairly old game for me to review, but it's considered one of the best games ever made in the genre, although it has been tainted by what happened with the developer behind the scenes. So, is Disco Elysium worth checking out on the PlayStation 5 console? This review is going to answer that question without spoiling the story or the setting.
The song of death is sweet and endless. But what is this? Somewhere in the sore, bloated man meat around you. A sensation.
If you're watching this review, chances are you already know the answer to that question. Disco Elysium is one of the most well-written and interesting games I've ever played. It's a masterpiece in storytelling, and although it did have several technical problems, I enjoyed every minute of it. But before we discuss anything else, we need to talk about the controversy behind the game. I'm not going to go too much into detail about it, since there are plenty of articles and YouTube videos discussing it, so I'll just stick with the basics. Everything is still in a legal limbo, filled with he said, she said, but it does boil down to the original creators of the game leaving the company and being replaced. A sequel, which was in the works, was cancelled, and most of the people who worked on this game are no longer at the studio. This review isn't about passing judgment or getting into the gritty details of it, but it's just to make you aware that there is a controversy surrounding Disco Elysium and whether buying it is morally right or not. That's why if you go onto the game's Steam page or its Metacritic, it's filled with negative reviews. That isn't about the game itself, it's about the developer. Again, I'm just a guy who casually plays games on console, and this review is just going to talk about the game.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material eaten up. It's nothing. Someone just left some roofing material slanted against an old shack. Because it's nice and orderly. No, there's more to this. You get this strange feeling. Hard to say. It's gone now. Feelings pass, you see, especially the small ones.
From a tactical standpoint, Disco Elysium can be a bit janky. When it autosaves or transitions to a new area, the game stutters. I had the game crash on me, and there are a few bugs and glitches that still haven't been fixed. The movement controls can be finicky on console, and the UI is clearly supposed to be for PC, and it didn't quite make the transfer to console controller perfectly. Navigating the menus for fast travel or equipping items isn't as intuitive as I would like. It's not bad, but it's not as good as it would be on a console as it would be on PC. The autosave is also unreliable, only saving at certain times and leaving big gaps in time if you need to reload the game. Quick save is very encouraged, but you can only keep one quick save and one backup, so manual save it if you need to go back a long time. None of that ruins the experience, but it's a shame that such a good story suffers from problems that can take you out of it. Graphically, Disco Elysium isn't a stunner. The character models are plain and the environments are nothing too extravagant, but it's the art style that's what's most important here, and the game really nails it. Portraits convey the insanity of this world, the dreariness, and its effect on the people who live there. But Disco Elysium is always played from a top-down perspective, zooming in and out to see the world around you. Items are automatically highlighted on console, although that can be turned off in the options. I would recommend keeping it on when playing, otherwise it can be hard to find things. There are no cinematics, everything is presented in-game. Alright, with the graphics and technicals out of the way, let's talk about the story, which is where Disco Elysium shines the most. It's like a detective noir novel going back to Dick Tracy or the like. and with a graphic novel type feeling that reminded me of Sin City or the Max Payne video game. You're never sure if what you're seeing is real or the main character's twisted version of events that is corrupted by his worldview. This review, like I said before, is going to be spoiler free, which can make it hard to discuss the story, but I'm just going to provide the most basic level of narrative here. The game is about a man who wakes up with no memory of who he is, where he is located, or what he's supposed to do. The main character is clueless about this world, as you are, and he is the perfect stand-in for the player. You can try to discover secrets or completely ignore them. It's up to you. The plot revolves around a murder that you have to solve, or don't. Again, that's up to you as well. Do what you want, ignore it, or focus on something else. Again, that option is there as well. Disco Elysium takes place in a fictional world of Elysium that is sort of similar to ours, only it has massive continents that are separated by the Pale, which is like a substance or antimatter that can't be traversed easily and affects physical reality around it. The weirdness in Disco Elysium is sort of this Lovecraftian type that everyone just sort of goes along with and doesn't really question. The world is incredibly lore-filled, with history going back thousands of years, and interesting concepts that you can delve into if you are interested. Or you can have the main character not care at all. Like I said, the plot is hard to talk about without spoiling anything, but it's a great mix of weird, scary, and hilarious all rolled into one depending how you play it. You can have the main character rant like a maniac, or be incredibly rude and violent to everyone around them, or apologetic and depressed. The dialogue options are so varied, and there were times I was laughing out loud at how crazy they were, while other times they were just depressing. On top of it all, the main character is quite insane, with different voices speaking in his head giving him advice. These voices come in the form of stats and upgrades for his abilities, making Disco Elysium a unique and interesting RPG. You start the game by selecting a role or archetype type thing, like physical or mental, etc. There are skills and stats associated with them. For example, logic is a mental stat, while endurance is physical. This only becomes important during skill checks. The game is about exploring and talking to people, and you often have to perform a skill check when discussing topics or trying to interact with objects. You may try to convince someone to do something, or you need to use persuasion to get them to see your point of view. That's a skill. Just like Dungeons & Dragons, you can outright fail or succeed these checks regardless of your skills, but the game gives you a chance of success. Of course, save scumming is an option where you can reload and try again, but often failure can lead to interesting outcomes that you want to follow instead of succeeding. The story is going to take you about 20 to 25 hours to complete, with choices you make along the way and how you acted determining the ending you get.
The stench of liquor rises from your mouth, and with it, an ungodly headache. A fiery streak penetrates your skull, trying to force your eyes open. It's a sound, a clarion call from hell.
Alright, let's go through the pros and cons of Disco Elysium. The dialogue and storytelling are top-notch. The game is voice-acted, and it is some of the best I've heard. Not every character is perfect, but most are interesting and memorable. There are mysteries to be solved, whether that's your identity, the murder that you're working on, or even people out in the town. The game made me want to seek out answers in a natural way. The game can be equal parts hilarious, horror-filled, and depressing, depending on your choices. The ending is satisfying, but it does leave you wanting a sequel. For the cons, everything that happened with the developer after the game was released, from firings, layoffs, and general shadiness, puts a bad taste in my mouth about recommending it to people. You can't separate the art from the artist. And this is like finding out Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa and then he killed her. The game can be janky to control and the UI isn't the best. There are also bugs and glitches present despite being out there for years. There won't be a sequel anytime soon, and if there is, I doubt it's going to be on the same level as the original. And that's it for another review. Thanks for checking out my video, and please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Disco Elysium would be an easy recommendation for everyone if it weren't for the fact that the development and publishing problems that went on behind the scenes leaves me conflicted on what you should do. I think you should probably just pick it up on sale or play it for free on a subscription service if you can, because this is a truly wonderful game. I'm the Casual Console Gamer, and I'll see you all in the next review.